2025 is going to see lots of change. New vans, new products, new VW Transporter, new Crafter, electric and hybrid vans, changes to festivals, events, and are we going to have to start paying some more tax? I also have something new for 2025, which I am really excited about. Is this year going to be the best year yet? Do you think we're going to have some really nice weather again, which we've seemed to have missed out on this last year? I want to know what your plans are. Tell me what you're up to, where you're planning on going. Have you got any special trips planned? Anyway, let's start talking about some vans. At the last NEC show, we saw a move by several converters to the new Ford Transit or Tornado platform. There were very few transporters left, and there could be even less at this next February show. As I said it in my follow-up video to the show though, that sales actually went really well, including those of the Transit. But will this Transit just be the stepping stone for the new Transporter? Yes, that is the new Transporter, not the Transporter T7. Yeah, I know it is confusing because it is the 7th generation, but it won't officially be called the T7. And I know the Transit is getting quite a lot of negativity at the moment, but is it really justified? If something is produced in big numbers, that any issue, whatever the fault is, it will be amplified due to the volume of vehicles on the road. And additionally, when someone says something bad, it's often talked about and spread. However, when something good is said, it's not really talked about and spread in the same way. If I have a problem with something, then it can get repeated and talked about. That said, that thing is a problem. But how often am I likely to say that my something has been great today? Unless I'm asked a question about my something, I'm not really going to be saying that. I've had a great day today, I've not had any problems with my van. The Ford Transit is said to be the best van ever made, the best selling van. So how can it be that bad? And now VW have taken the best van and improved it. So arguably, the best van has been made even better. And most of you are going to probably feel that the Transporter is the best van. But the Transit, as a van, has done very well for many years. And yeah, I do prefer the Transporter, hence I actually have one. And that's for many reasons, which is going to be really interesting to see actually what happens in this sense with the new one. The residual values have always been really strong. The appeal and the cult status of the Transporter. Is that going to continue now it's a Ford-Volkswagen alliance? There are many festivals, communities and groups for VWs due to that history and the large following. Time is going to tell though how well it's going to be received. Although I do know that there's quite a lot of people interested in it at the moment and are ordering them when they can. And that isn't just converters. There are also a few other new vans for 2025. The ID Buzz GTX long wheelbase has been released, and we're going to start seeing those. And I have to admit that I really do quite like them. It is fully electric, which is again another controversial topic, but I believe that they currently do have a purpose. Whether they're a long-term solution or not, again, time is going to tell. But I think for a particular purpose, they are a very good van. And a much bigger van that's going to have a refresh is the VW Crafter. This is the facelift with the digital screen upgrade, the relocation of the handbrake on the DSG model, with the selector now being on the stalk, which is the same as the ID Buzz. But more on the Crafter and a few bigger vans coming up in a moment. We also have the Volkswagen New California Ocean, which is built on the multivan platform, and I'm very keen to test this out. But unfortunately, I've not got any Volkswagen friends close to me. That's something I hope to change over this next 12 months. Maybe you've ordered one though, and you would like me to have a look at it. I'm certainly going to be interested to hear what you've got to think about it. Anyway, this brings Volkswagen's own campervan into the modern era with updated technology and importantly, more efficient engines, which are going to include diesel, petrol and plug-in hybrid options. And I know that this has mixed reviews from people, and I want to see that who is right about the capabilities of it. It's said to be bigger and more spacious than the outgoing model, and I want to put that to the test. Is it bigger, like Volkswagen say, or is it smaller, like a few other people have said? Again, time is going to tell. At the NEC show in February, we're going to see some updates to some of these prototypes we saw in October. And we are hopefully going to see some more new models from these converters on different base vehicles. And I look forward to seeing those. If they're ready in time, I know there's a few in preparation. I believe that there may be some new exhibitors at the show this year also, which is going to be very interesting. It's always good to see alternative vans, but we'll see if they make the cut or not as far as my videos are concerned. We'll see when I see them at the show. And speaking of making the cut, watch out in a few videos times when I tell you a story of somebody who was very upset about a purchase they had made. A big one, and it was a bad one. Yet another example of an ongoing problem. And if anybody has any stories that you're going to like to share with me, then do email me, get in touch, drop a comment. My email address is on my About page. That story isn't the only negative part of this year though. There are some festivals and events, some gatherings that have also been cancelled, and I'm sure there's going to be many more than the ones I mentioned here. But two long-running events, the Cornwall Jamboree and Van West, are no longer going to be taking place in 2025. That is no way any reflection on how these events have been run. But for several reasons, it's harder and harder to put on these events. We have seen the big increase in prices of vans, campervans. We have seen diesel increase in price, and also that of utilities and food shopping. Costs are escalating for everything. When people are putting on events like these, the running costs are absolutely huge. Add to that the number of events, meets, shows and festivals taking place during the calendar year. There will be inevitably date clashes, and no matter how good our vans are, we can't be in two places at once. And even if there isn't a date clash, us as individuals, we can't afford to attend all these events, so we must pick and choose which events which we attend. Not to worry though, the Dubbed Out Festival is still going to be on, and it's going to be going from strength to strength. And look at this, I've now got my sticker on the back of my van. Some of those improvements which I did the other week, if you didn't see that, I actually did a video on it. I changed my bumper protector, added some different wind deflectors because my old ones were a little bit old, my wing mirror cover because the other one got smashed off, and it's made a big difference. And the reason I mention Dubbed Out is because of the friendly Facebook group which they operate, which I know that a lot of you are actually part of. Now, Dubbed Out is up north, so if you're looking for something in a different location, there are others, big events and small events. You've got the Vanlife Festival and Campervan Campout, just to name a few, and they are Midlands, I think. Oh no, once Vanlife is Shropshire and then Campervan Campout is South Coast somewhere. But that community aspect of our lifestyle doesn't appeal to everybody. But these events are brilliant for just having a good nosy around, having a look at other people's vans, looking for some ideas and inspiration of what you could do next to yours. There are also stands and stalls for you to buy goodies from. Pretty much everything you're going to need for in and outside of your camper. This year, I'm seriously considering a few major changes to my van, and I'm keen to see in the flesh two companies' products. Both are actually in different countries to me, and I'm looking if anybody can share any experiences of these products. The first is the Ply Guys, which are based in Scotland, and the second is Cumbria Campers, obviously based in Wales. And both of these have similar products, where you've got kind of one bench seat at the back and then another one on the other side, and they merge them together and they come to a bed. Potentially interested in the floor as well, and then also the table which comes in the middle, because yeah, I've got some fantastic video ideas for those. So if it happens, do watch this space. A change could well be on its way. And another big change for this year is tax, vehicle tax and tourist tax. So let's not be too worried though, as the vehicle excise duty increase is for new vehicles only, or some smaller increases for vehicles which have got lower emissions, which isn't the big diesel vans which we've got. I'm sure there could be increases coming in the future for our current vans, but at the moment this increase in 2025 is not going to be affecting our diesel vans. We're just going to get the inflation increases which we tend to get every year. But then you've got the Tourist Tax or Visitor Levy Scotland Act, which is going to come into force. And this allows local authorities to add a levy on accommodation. But again, actually, the earliest for this to be introduced is not until 2026. But it's just something to be keeping in mind on now, having a look at the news just to see what's going to be happening with that. But we can discuss that at a later date. It isn't just Scotland though. Wales have also proposed a tourism tax. And again, don't worry, because that one's not actually expected until 2027, I think it is. So that's even further away. But that proposal is not a percentage. That's actually going to be, or said to be, a set amount. £1.25 for hotels, B&Bs, etc., and then 75p for campsites and hostels per night. But again, that's not happening just yet, so let's wait and see what happens in the future. More immediate though, which is restrictions which are cropping up at the moment for campervans and motorhomes. And it seems that more planning is required as bans have been put in place. Overnight motorhome parking ban is coming into more locations, and this is being brought in for different reasons. Car park streets and park-ups are being restricted. Height barriers have been introduced in some places, and these are actually becoming lower. Some are even less than 2 meters. So just try and stay alert and realize before it's too late. I've heard a couple of stories of people being caught out as they've driven into an unrestricted car park on several occasions, and then all of a sudden there's a height barrier installed or a sign prohibiting parking or overnight stays, which they didn't realise. We can argue what our feelings are on these, but they are there and we just need to be aware. It's like car parks are now being controlled by ANPR cameras. People are receiving penalties for not paying immediately. And there are a lot of these car parks cropping up in places. Don't get caught out. I nearly did actually get caught out myself. I pulled up in a beach car park, which I've parked up for a long time, and I was just getting the stuff ready to go down to the beach. And then a chap parked next to us, and he said to his wife, "Go and quickly get a ticket before we get a ticket." So you needed to park, because if you don't get a ticket in a certain period of time, you're actually going to get a fine, which it's not great. So you just need to be aware of those things. So moving on to campervan products, we have seen some new components and designs recently, and we're going to continue to see lots and lots more. Will the electric pop-top roof, which was seen at the last NEC show, start featuring in some of these conversions? We have seen a few new bed systems appearing, and some of them are certainly better than others. Be very, very wary when you're buying, especially if you're buying online. Obtain that test certificate to show it actually passed. The phrase crash tested bed. Yes, hopefully the result was a pass. Get the certificate. The new locate table will be widely distributed, and that's the manner in which it's secured into the panel, which makes it a little bit easier to remove and put back in place. The Savvy Van control panel will be more widespread as converters move to a more modern control panel. Much better looking and more functional than the basic switches, but more coming on that very soon. What else am I going to be bringing you in 2025? Well, I intend to be visiting 4 other countries of the UK. 4 others? 4 in total, that is. A few places in Scotland, maybe, like I've said, including the Ply Guys, with possibly Kombi campers in Wales. I'm also going to be going to Yorkshire to see some non-Volkswagen campers. And speaking of that, look out for a new video which I've got coming in the next few weeks, which is another campervan, which isn't a Volkswagen, nor is it a Ford. Perhaps it's a camper though that you might want to consider. And then there's also Northern Ireland. I keep seeing scenery, some beautiful places over there. And I do fancy going checking it out with my own eyes, and also visiting the Titanic experience. I've got a lot of things planned, but as usual, it's time and money that are the issues. I can't be offering the same as those who do this full time, but I will keep bringing you as much as I can, the honest opinions and my thoughts. I'm always happy for a conversation about campers, products, components, etc. I want to make changes this year. I want to change my setup, so I am going to be investigating that. I also have few new products which I'm currently testing, so I'll be bringing you some of those over the next couple of months, including this one, which I'm going to be showing you next week. So do subscribe to see that. Anyway, back to vans themselves. And we are seeing more and more larger vans, VW Crafters, MANs, Mercedes Sprinters and others. The rise in popularity is likely to continue as people want more space, more gadgets, more storage, shower and a toilet enclosures inside the van. Some people want proper ovens, maybe a fixed bed, a lounge area, just generally more room to spread out. We are seeing more adventure type vans with all-terrain tyres, and that's actually what I fancy on my transporter. Some say that they are pointless. Well, maybe they are for some, but we're all different, aren't we? Some people go on adventures where those wheels could be very, very handy. Just wanted to park in a car park down there, but because of the way my van is, it's not really ideal for my van as it is at the moment. But if I had those different tyres, and my van was raised a little bit, then actually that could be better and easily more accessible for me then. But if you don't like those all-terrain tyres, alternatively perhaps you're somebody who likes massive wheels that are slammed to the floor. It's all about personal preference. Maybe air suspension could be the answer for the best of both worlds. There will be lots and lots to see this year, and also do. You can see some future vans which we're going to be seeing this year here. Anyway, Happy New Year, and I hope to see you soon.